Hey, is this thing on? Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be getting into my personal toolkit for productivity. I feel like most people, whether they're clients or people who I work with, they will ask me like, how do you manage it all? How do you keep track of your schedule? What is the best way? What are the tried and true things that you actually do in your real life? So I figured I would share all that information in a video today. So we're going to be focused on productivity tips that actually changed my life. So the first one is brain dumping, and it pretty much is exactly what it sounds like. Everything that's going on in my brain, I take it and I get it out of there onto something tangible. So when I first started doing my brain dumps, I would actually handwrite everything out. Now I do a digital brain dump on my iPhone in my notes section so that I'm not constantly thinking about all the things that need to be done. And I also don't have to worry about forgetting to do something that was really important. So typically my brain dumps happen at nighttime because my mind is going, it's racing, it should be slowing down, getting ready to kind of unwind and go to bed, but I'm kind of thinking of all the things that I need to get done, what I'm going to prioritize, and what I don't want to forget to do. So that can definitely be something that makes it harder for me to fall asleep and harder for me to actually get good rest. So brain dumping has been extremely helpful. So at night, before I go to bed, I jot down all the things that are on my mind. If it's like, oh, I wanted to add this to a video or I had a different idea, I jot down all those things as well. It is not organized, it's not in any particular order, it is literally just a brain dump. And we'll talk about how to organize that a little bit later in this video as well. But the first thing is just literally getting it out of my mind and onto some type of piece of paper or in my phone. But I don't only use this brain dumping productivity technique at nighttime, I also use it throughout the day. As things come up, as I become inspired, as I have questions about something, or as I'm reminded of something that I needed to do, a task that has to be completed, I go ahead, put it on my brain dump list because I know when I get to scheduling, everything is going to be there and I don't have to worry about any pieces missing. Now that goes very nicely into productivity tip that changed my life. Number 2, which is scheduling and calendaring. So like I mentioned, my brain dump is a mess. I just got everything kind of listed there. It's not categorized or organized in any way. It's just taken from my brain and put on the list. So in order to make that useful and actionable, then I put it into my calendar or into my schedule. So in general, my schedule kind of has the things that I do regularly. On Mondays at this time, it's kind of like a standing thing that I'll do during the week. I've already got all of those things put into my calendar. But then I've got extra space. So that's when I go into my brain dump list. And so I just go down the list and plug things in. So I figure out, okay, if on my list I wrote down that I needed to go to the grocery store to pick up some type of sauce, then I look at my calendar and I figure out, when do I have time to go to the grocery store and pick up this sauce? And I have to be realistic. So I have to think of a lot of different factors, like how long it's gonna take me to get there, how crowded the store is gonna be, like those kinds of factors affect when I'm going to put that onto my calendar. So what I've learned, I love to go to Trader Joe's, but it's packed and I'm just not dealing with it. So going in the morning as soon as Trader Joe's opens is something that has been really helpful and effective for me. So if I know I've got pick up this sauce on my list, I know I want to go get it from Trader Joe's, then I'm gonna look at my calendar and see what space I have available in the morning to be able to plug in that quick trip to the grocery store. And now it's on my calendar. So just like going to a doctor's appointment or working with my clients, doing things for work, prepping my content, there are things that I have to do throughout the day and throughout the week, but because I've now said Wednesday at 10 a.m. I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's to get this sauce, it has become a priority. It has become something that I've made time for within my week. Now, obviously sauce is like a very generalized, kind of simple idea, but everything on your brain dump list works the same exact way. Put it on your list, find space on your calendar after you focus on your regular schedule to plug in those other extra things that you want to make sure that you get accomplished. So now you've got this full calendar, everything looks beautiful, but you don't look at it. That is not going to help you. So the third thing that really helps with my productivity is actually doing a calendar review every single night. So before I go to bed, unfortunately, I guess it's not that exciting, but the last thing I see is my calendar. But it's not stressful because it's not like, oh my gosh, what did I forget? I have so much to do. It's just a review so that I can make sure that my mind is right for the next day and that I have clear expectations of everything that I'm going to have to do. So I look over my calendar. I keep my calendar separate. So I have my Google Calendar for work things, and then I have my personal calendar on my iCalendar on my phone. So I look over my Google Calendar first, see where I need to be and when for work. Do I have group meetings? Do I have client sessions? Do I have one-on-ones? And kind of get a really clear view of what my work day is going to look like. Sometimes it does shift. I have to maybe put things into my lunchtime so that I can start work later or finish work earlier, but I'm able to make those adjustments. So now that I've looked at my work calendar, I've got to look at my personal calendar. Okay, if I know Monday I have 5 different meetings and I have this to-do list of things to take care of that are specifically for work, but I also need to make sure that I make a doctor's appointment on Monday and go to a workout class. Okay, so now I've seen my work calendar. I know where I have some space and some wiggle room where I can kind of make adjustments. And then I can slide in the other things like going to the doctor or going to a workout class. And it doesn't feel extremely overwhelming. I won't forget to do it. I've made time for a lot of different things that are important without sacrificing my commitment to work, but at the same time, while focusing on my self-care and my health and other things that are equally as important. So definitely look over your calendar every single night, gain some clarity, get a clear understanding of what your day is going to look like. I personally try not to look a week ahead because that is just too much. I don't want to know. My calendar, my schedule is unhinged at this point, and I just don't want to deal with it. But taking it one day at a time really helps me to be able to stay focused and to not get overwhelmed and still accomplish everything that's on my list. Now, along the lines of calendaring, we have the 4th thing that really helps me to be productive in my real life, and that is having weekly to-do lists. Now, my to-do lists, I'm not gonna lie, they're not perfectly beautiful and separated. I don't have like a tablet or something to write things down for my work to-do list. I don't have a separate place where I do like my content to-do list, or maybe another location or calendar where I focus on my personal to-do list. It is literally all on one thing. Let me actually grab my calendar so I can show y'all an example. Okay, so let's flip on over to a page that I have not gotten to yet. So say for example, I am here in August. So I've got all of like the regular blanks for calendar things, but this isn't really what I use to keep track of my actual to-do list. I go to this like weekly kind of calendar setup page where everything is broken out by week, but I don't use it in this way, if that makes sense. So like Monday the 7th, I'm not gonna write here everything that I have to do on Monday the 7th. I look at this as one big snapshot for the week. So I'll literally write work to do, personal to do, errands to run, people to call, like every different block is not a day of the week. It's a separate segment of things that I have to get taken care of. So that way I can look at this, see my week at a glance. I can add things as I go. I usually put like questions here if I have a question I need to ask at work or if something comes up. So I know I'm not forgetting anything, but it's all here in one place. So I don't have to say, oh, that was something I was working on for content. Where did I put that? Where's that notebook? Did I write it in my phone? Did I write it on my iPad? It is all right here. Just because it's under Thursday doesn't mean it's happening on Thursday, but let's say that under Thursday, I put all of like the appointments that I need to make. By the end of the week, I can go down this list, make sure that they've all been made, they've all been put into my calendar, and I don't have to worry about being confused about where to find different things. Now that's not like the most beautifully aesthetic option. However, it works really well for me. It's super simple to follow. It's all in one place. And when I get to the weekend, I close that, put it in the drawer. I don't have to think of anything that's like a tedious to-do task, and I can just focus on like my fun social calendar that's in my phone and know that I've taken care of everything I needed to do for the week. And finally, the last productivity tip that I actually use and really works for me is something that I actually just started doing this year in 2023 when I got into the 12-week year. It was actually my first 12-week year. I was trying to figure out, like, what do I want my personal goal to be? And I decided that I really needed to kind of minimize the amount of time that I'm spending on social things, because it was just becoming a lot for me and I did not have the time to be in 10 different places at once. So my goal for that first 12-week year was to implement Say No Weekend. I was just trying it out for the first 12 weeks, but it stuck and it has been one of the best decisions that I have ever made. So the way that Say No Weekend works is, you know, you get your calendar out throughout the month. People are like, hey girl, you wanna come do this? You wanna do that? Oh, I'm having this, I'm having that, please come through. You get invitations, all that kind of stuff. You put it on your calendar, right? So before the month even comes up, I go through and I look at my weekends and I decide which one of these weekends is going to be my Say No weekend. Now, let's say I'm already looking at September, I've picked out a Say No weekend, but then I get invited to something that is really important. I definitely wanna go and try my best to be there. Does that mean I'm not gonna go? It kind of depends. So most of the time what I will do is try to swap it. So let's say I put my Say No weekend for the 3rd weekend of that month, but then I realize, hey, someone's having this event, I really should make an effort to go, and it's on that 3rd weekend of the month. I'm gonna go back to my calendar, look at it again and see what shifts I can make. So if I see like, oh, okay, I am actually available, don't have anything going on or anything that I've committed to for the 2nd weekend in September, I'll go ahead and move my Say No weekend to that weekend so I can make it to this event. So that way it's like I'm still being considerate and supportive of friends and family, but at the same time, I'm being considerate and supportive of myself. I'm not going to just cancel out Say No weekend because a bunch of things have come up. I will try my best to make adjustments and still make that time for myself. And I loved it. I'm not gonna say like, oh, if like random things come up, like, hey, I run into someone, they're like, do you wanna grab lunch? At that point, I can make that decision. But in general, having the mindset that I am not doing anything this weekend, but spending time with myself, doing something that makes me happy, catching up on my rest, that really helps me to be able to realign where my focus is and also realign with myself, give myself grace, give myself a break, and then that helps me to be recharged and ready to be productive in all the other areas of my life once I've taken that moment for myself. So those are my 5 productivity tips that I actually use that have literally changed my life, and I'm so grateful for them. It's really just like a hodgepodge of different things, but I promise they all work. So definitely comment below which of the tips you want to try out, if you want to try them all, if you have more questions, want more clarification. I am happy to answer those questions for you in the comment section below. And also, I know some of you have great ideas and great productivity tips that work for you as well. So please share them below. Let's get the conversation going. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that you subscribe, join the community to get more videos on things like productivity and personal growth during your weekly dose of self-improvement. I'll see you next time. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Affirmations with Amber.